You bought a round-trip ticket with a connection, took the first flight, but decided to skip the second one because you found another way there. No big deal, right? Well, that one decision can completely change your ticket, cancel your return, and even cost you more money. Let me explain why skipping a single leg of your trip can cause such a headache and what's really happening behind the scenes. Here's the situation I see almost every day. A passenger buys a round-trip ticket, let's say Orlando to Atlanta, Atlanta to Chicago, then back home later that week. They take the first flight to Atlanta, but then decide not to take the Atlanta to Chicago leg. Maybe they found a cheaper flight. Maybe someone's picking them up. Whatever the reason, they want us to cancel just that one segment and still keep their return flight home. Unfortunately, that's not how airline tickets work. When you buy a round trip or connecting ticket, it's priced based on the entire itinerary. That means the system gives you a lower fare because you're flying from one city to another and back, not buying each piece separately. So when you skip a segment, even just one, your trip turns into something completely different in the airline system. It's no longer a round trip between the same cities. It becomes what's called an open jaw or multi-city ticket, and those are usually much more expensive. So when you ask to cancel one leg and keep the rest, the system has to recalculate the fare for what you're actually flying. And that almost always raises the price. Here's what happens behind the scenes. When you miss or cancel a leg, the reservation system automatically marks you as a no-show. Once that happens, every remaining flight on that ticket, including your return, is canceled to prevent out-of-sequence travel. If you call in before that happens, the agent can sometimes manually cancel the segment, but the ticket still has to be repriced. That's because you're no longer traveling in the same pattern the original fare was built on. It's not that the agent doesn't want to help. It's that the system simply doesn't allow you to pick and choose flights from a discounted round-trip ticket. I get it. Passengers often think, I'm canceling part of my trip, so I should get some money back, right? But the opposite usually happens, because that discounted fare was tied to you taking all the flights. Removing one segment breaks that agreement. Think of it like a bundle deal. If you buy a round trip for $400 but each one-way is $300, skipping a leg means we have to charge you based on the real one-way price. That's why the ticket suddenly costs more instead of less. So what should you do instead? If you know ahead of time you'll only be flying one direction, book it that way from the start. Yes, one-way fares can be higher, but at least you control the itinerary, and it won't cause issues with cancellations or fare adjustments later. If your plans change mid-trip, call the airline before skipping a flight. Sometimes, depending on the fare type, agents can reissue the ticket for a small fee instead of losing everything. So the next time you book a connecting or round-trip ticket, remember, it's a package deal. Skipping one flight can unravel your whole itinerary. I hope this helps you understand what's really going on when airlines say we can't just cancel one leg. If you want more inside tips that help you travel smarter and avoid expensive mistakes, subscribe for weekly videos straight from someone who's worked inside the airline world.